So this film here, M3GAN, is about as subtle as a slap in the face. Let's talk about it.
This is M3GAN.
Hi, M3GAN. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
So welcome back to the channel, all, and welcome to what I believe is my first review of 2023. Yes, for the movie M3GAN from Blumhouse Pictures. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different at the end of this review. Now, as you may or may not be aware, I don't generally do a rating out of 10 or anything for films. I'll just give you my opinion on them. But at the end of this, and films going forward, I'm going to give you my prediction on what I would do with the film on physical media and whether it makes my collection. And that's going to be my sort of telling of how great a film is. So anyway, so M3GAN here, like I said, from Blumhouse Pictures. This film comes at us directed by Gerard Johnson and written by Akela Cooper, from a story by Akela Cooper and James Wan, who's synonymous with a lot of horror films now, and you know, he's quite big in Hollywood, isn't he? Oh, James Wan. This film stars Alison Williams as Gemma from the movie Get Out. Katie, the young girl in the piece, is played by Violet McGraw, who we've seen in Black Widow as the young Elena. She was also in Doctor Sleep, as well as a number of other things. M3GAN herself, the killer doll in the film, is portrayed by Amy Donald, who does the body work, and Jenna Davies as the voice. So this film here, we're introduced to Katie at the beginning of the film, and she loses her parents in an automobile accident and has to go and live with her aunt Gemma, who takes custody of her after these tragic events. Gemma herself actually works for a big toy company who are big in producing these Furby-esque kind of toys that that's kids love, and they're working on the next models of them. But secretly, she's actually working on a doll, a robotic humanoid doll, as the next big toy thing. And she uses this doll to help with Katie, to help get Katie over the death of her parents, which enables her to go off and do her work and research on producing these toys at a cost of 10k a piece if you want to buy one, for very rich kids. So anyway, this film here, is it any good? That's the question. Like I said, it's not a very subtle film. To start with, I will say that the film has got one of the biggest Chekhov gun moments in a film I've ever seen, and that's how predictable this film is, that when this scene occurred, I just said, there's the ending of your film right there. There's how they get the better of this killer doll. Now, as the story serves, the killer doll isn't malicious or evil in any intent. It doesn't go wrong, so to speak. What it is, she is programmed with looking after Katie. Basically, any physical or mental harm that comes to her needs to be dealt with. And in this, she takes this, the doll takes these parameters literally, and therefore anyone that causes harm or potentially causes harm, she will dispatch of. And there's the basis of your story. I'm not going to go into too much story for you, detail for you, but that's the general gist of the movie. Now, the film itself does play with themes of parenthood, and I liked some of this. There was a good juxtaposition in that Gemma herself, this is the aunt, she is reflective of parents who don't really know how to parent, who ain't got the time to parent, who put their jobs first and leave kids to be looked after, essentially babysat by the TV, by technology, or by nannies, that sort of a thing. Then on the other side of this, you've got the doll herself, M3GAN, who is an overprotective, over-empowering kind of a parent figure that takes protection to the next level, shall we say. So there's these sort of themes in there of parenthood and doing wrong in the way of parenting on both ends of the scale, and not in that sort of happy medium area where most parents really need to be. So that in itself I found to be quite an interesting concept. However, like I said, the film is pretty damn predictable. And there we go. It runs for 1 hour and 42 minutes. It is paced very well. The set designs are nice. You know, the film is shot very nice. There's nothing wrong in that regards to the film, but the film does lack something, and I can't pinpoint exactly what the film lacks. I think it'll be one of them films that I watch and forget pretty damn quickly. Now, interestingly, the film is a PG-13, but it was actually made as an R-rated film. But after they made the R-rated cut, they realised actually we are so close to that PG-13 parameters that if we reshot a couple of these bits, we will be given a PG-13 film, and we can open up the audience to more people. So that's the way that went. So I wouldn't be surprised if when it does hit physical media, we will get an R-rated version in there. But that R-rated version is going to make no difference to the end product, whether it be you watching the R-rated version or the PG version, unless you get off on a tiny trickle of extra blood or something like that, and I'm not that sort of a person. So it really doesn't matter to me. So overall, I think that the film's got, thematically, the film has good stuff in it. I think it's well shot, well produced. It's well acted. I like both of the main stars. They were pretty damn good in it. I think that the doll itself is quite freaky in terms of movement, in that it is very humanoid in movement. But it's got the fake looking face. So there's something about it that the two doesn't gel together too well for me, in that this doll at moments moves very much like it's got the movements of a ballerina, but with this android face. I may have preferred it if it had a few more glitches or twitches or something that made it stand out to be just slightly more off being humanoid, because it moves with more perfection than what a normal human would. Thusly, you could say, well, that's good design on the robot, or something like that. You could argue it like that. But for me personally, you know, there are scenes in the film where I'm clearly watching a girl in a sort of rubber mask or a CGI face on it, and this sort of a thing. But yeah, so overall, it's not going to set the world alight, this film. It's a fun film. It's better than the Child's Play remake, I will say that. It's more enjoyable and a bit more original than that. This is kind of a mixture of Child's Play, artificial intelligence, Terminator, and Kristanna Loken all thrown into a blender. And then you get M3GAN. Yeah, so would I pick this film up on physical media? Okay, so if a special edition, you know, all bells ringing version came out, you know, book, cards, all that, I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it. If they'd done a steelbook for it, again, I wouldn't get it. If they'd done a 4K release, if they do a 4K, which they probably will inevitably, I won't get that. I'm happy to have this film on Blu-ray in the collection. I'm happy to revisit it at some point. But as a price point, this film I would probably pick up when it hits about £5, £4 in CEX. No more than £6. That's me being fair. And that's where I'd go with the film if I were to add it to the ever-growing physical media collection that I have in this room. So there you go. There's my thoughts on the movie M3GAN. So why don't you tell me down below your thoughts on this film, whether you've seen it, whether you like it, whether you enjoyed it, whether it worked for you. If it didn't work for you, let me know if you think it's the greatest film ever made. Let me know if you've only seen the trailer, if you want to watch it. If I put you off of watching it, that's not my intent. Everyone needs to make their own decision about a movie, because it's all subjective. So anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. Goodbye.